At This Place in History, we're in Winooski with Executive Director of the Vermont Historical Society, Steve Perkins. Steve, what brings us to the Onion City?
So we're standing outside the Champlain Mill, and we're going to go inside and we're going to see the Mill Museum and to understand the industrial past of Winooski. So Amanda, we're inside the Mill Museum, and Miriam Block, who's the Executive Director, has joined us to tell us all about what we see here.
Miriam, really basic question first. What is a mill?
A mill is a place where things are manufactured, and this is a textile mill, and textiles is just another word for fabric.
Why did they build mills here? Why Winooski?
Because of the water power. The Winooski River is right outside and there's a drop in the water. This area is a great area for water power as a resource.
And what are we standing in front of? What is this piece of machinery here?
This here is a power loom. So it weaves fabric.
And there might be a little espionage involved in the history of this, I heard.
Power loom was invented in England. They had a patent on it, and Francis Cabot Lowell in the early 1800s went over to England, and there was a little espionage where he memorized the plans and brought that back to America to rebuild the loom so that there could be manufacturers in New England.
So it's my understanding looms, if you do it by hand, you have to run a shuttle through these strings, but a power loom is using the water power to fire that shuttle back and forth.
Yes, that's exactly what happens.
So they could put hundreds of them in a room.
Yes,
right?
So the photograph behind you, you can really imagine that in a mill building like this, there would have been many looms running. It would have been incredibly noisy and not very comfortable to work there.
Who did work here?
Initially, young Yankee girls were brought from their farms. It was an opportunity for them to make some extra cash. Like in Lowell, Massachusetts, and many places, they were concerned about their wages, and the mill owners didn't want to give them better wages, and so they wound up hiring lots of immigrants and immigrant families to do the work. So that is how Winooski was built up, based on immigrants coming to this area to find jobs. French Canadian people, Polish, Syrian, Lebanese, Irish, Italian, all came to work here at the mill.
You have a couple of exhibits that show child labor here in the mills. Can you speak to that a little?
Yeah, so the families, the immigrant families that came here, they were making very small wages, and the entire family had to work, including the children. So we have a collection of photos taken by Lewis Hine. Lewis Hine was hired by the National Child Labor Committee in the early 1900s to document child labor in America. One of the areas that he focused on was the textile industry, and he did come to Winooski and Burlington to photograph children that worked in the mill. So we have a bunch of photographs of them working here, both in the Champlain Mill and the Chase Mill, which is the building across the river from us.
And you have a great museum here. Is it open to the public?
It is. We are open from 9 to 5 on weekdays, and it's free.
At This Place in History.